Okay, who relates to this? You're overweight and then you lose a bunch of weight. Maybe you even hit your weight loss goal and everyone seems like they're just treating you better. Life is going better. You're more confident. You have more energy. All these synchronicities are happening. It's like the best time in your life when you're skinny and you're at your weight loss goal. You're not wishing that you weren't fat anymore because you're not fat anymore. And then life starts lifing. Something happens, maybe something stressful or something that wasn't that stressful, but you reacted in a overreacting type of way, and it caused you to revert back to your old habits. And then you gain all of the weight back, either slowly over time, or in a lot of y'all's cases, including mine, maybe even faster than you lost it in the first place. And you feel so shitty. It's like, why did I even try? I knew that it was going to be like this again because I've been doing this on again and off again for my entire life. And to think that it would have been different would have been crazy. I know that what I did wasn't sustainable. I just can't do it. It's too late. I've done this too many times. I'm a postmenopausal woman. There's just no way that I can do this. It's too late for me. I've tried all of the diets. None of them work. I'm not motivated enough. I don't have the discipline that it takes. But skinny privilege is the best part of losing weight. Skinny privilege is great because when I was skinnier, everybody treated me better. And I've got this story now that I'm fatter. It's like my life, people don't treat me the same way. So now I have this fat disadvantage and I just want to get back to having that skinny privilege. If you resonate with what I just said, this podcast episode is going to completely change your life, the way that you look at your mind and the way that you look at actual sustainable weight loss so that you can actually heal root cause, heal your fat mind and put obesity behind you for good. And the reason why this episode is so important to you, if you resonate with what I just said, is because I'm going to walk you through first what skinny privilege is. I'm going to walk you through what skinny privilege has wrong. I'm going to walk you through how allowing yourself to even believe in skinny privilege in the first place is preventing you from actually keeping the weight off. We're going to be talking about weight loss, meaning hitting a number on the scale, versus permanent sustainable weight loss, actually putting obesity behind you, the difference in the mindsets between those two types of people. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you a practice at the end of this episode that will allow you to fully embody what you are currently calling skinny privilege way before you ever hit your weight loss goal. This episode will put you in the driver's seat of your own life instead of outsourcing your happiness to how other people treat you because of your number on the scale or the way that your body looks. If it's your first time here, hi, I'm Nick. I lost 110 pounds in 2019 after a lifetime of losing weight and gaining it back on every single diet that has ever existed and that anyone has ever considered doing. I've kept the weight off for 6 years now without actually really being on a diet. You would never guess that I was fat. And I make this podcast specifically for people that have been yo-yoing, doing on again, off again their whole life, that are truly fed the fuck up. This is not for the people that are like, I just want to get back so that I can lose my 20 pounds, so that I can get my skinny privilege and look better, feel better. This is for the people that want to save their own lives, the people that have 30, 40, 50, 100, 175 pounds to lose and are fed up with spending 99% of their time wishing that they weren't fat, drowning in food noise and drowning in cravings. So let's start off with first, what is skinny privilege? Skinny privilege means that people treat you better when you're skinnier. That's it. It's worth noting from the very beginning, skinny privilege and fat disadvantage are not the same thing. So if somebody treats you like shit because you're fat, that's not the same as skinny privilege. Before we really dive into this, I have been kind of dreading making this episode, but I've been wanting to do it for like a year. And I've made a couple posts about this stuff on Instagram that had a few tens of thousands of views. And I have received hundreds of really nasty DMs for and around this topic about people really fully defending the idea that skinny privilege is a real thing. And if that's you, I totally get it and don't hold it against you at all. You don't have to believe what I believe. What I'm doing is inviting you into a different way of looking at things that will help you feel more in control of your journey. So if you're someone that's coming into this episode going, fuck this guy, saying that skinny privilege isn't real, because when I walk through the grocery store at Costco, people give me dirty looks and they, walk really far around me, like exaggerate it. And skinny privilege is real because when I was skinny, that wasn't a thing. I'm not saying that didn't happen or that that's not real. I'm saying that, no, really my question for you is, would you rather be right and stay the same or consider a different way of looking at things and have the opportunity to really save your own life and put it behind you. And for me, when I was fat, when I was in your position, I cared more about being right than I did about actually living a healthy lifestyle and feeling like I had a healthy mind and a healthy relationship with food. So wherever you're at on that scale, there's literally no problem at all. This is not for everybody. This is really for the people that are willing to put the pride aside. And that's like so triggering for me to say, because that was not me for the first 5 years of me losing and gaining back over 70 pounds every year. So if that's not you right now, that's totally okay. If that's the case, just take this episode as little seeds that are being planted in your brain, and maybe they can sprout a few years from now. This doesn't need to be the episode that, does it all for you. And I'm just inviting you into a way of thinking. This way of thinking is not for people that are not ready for it or just choose to not believe it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. So here's what people have wrong about skinny privilege. And this is where things start to get a little bit controversial. And this is where I'll start to get some messages from people, and that's totally okay. People don't treat you better because you're skinny. People treat you better because you feel better about your life and because you're treating yourself better. There's a lot here that we need to understand. Number one is that people make assumptions about other people. And this is hard to say, so I know it's hard to hear. But it needs to be said, right? When we see a short person, like a really short guy, like a 5'3" guy, a lot of people just assume that guy has got what we might call Napoleonic syndrome, which is short man's complex. There's just assumptions that people make about it. It may or may not be true. A lot of people, we might even say the majority of people, have some level of that thought when they're in the presence of a guy that is 5'3" or shorter. A lot of the times when we're around homeless people, we make assumptions that they are either on or have been on drugs in the past. The reason why we make that assumption, even though it's not fair because some of them haven't, is because a lot of them are and a lot of them have. Probably even most of them are, and probably even most of them have, right? A lot of the times when we are around people that are fat, including ourselves, when we look in the mirror, we make assumptions about their level of self-care and also their level of willingness to take care of themselves and their motivation and their will to live. And that's not always true, but it is true a lot of the times. So the first part that you need to understand here is that people are not disadvantaging you because you are fat. People are subconsciously disadvantaging you because of the assumptions that people make around people that are obese and overweight. Unhealed childhood traumas. Some might even say addictions to food. I don't believe that food addiction is a real thing. I think it's extremely overdiagnosed, and that term is really overused and way too medical sounding. Some people might say fat people are lazy. Some people might say fat people don't care about themselves. It's not that these things are or are not true as absolutes. In my case, all of them were true. Not only did I not care about myself, I would actually take it further and say I strongly hated and disliked myself. I was to the point where I couldn't even look myself in the mirror. I was to the point where I could not get on top of my woman because I didn't have the confidence to, but also because I did not have the testosterone to get an erection to have the kind of sex that I even wanted in the first place. And I was in my mid-20s. So I'm coming from the position of like being in literal hell on earth. And I know a lot of you relate to that, right? Walking out of the bathroom, but like keeping your towel on after you get out of the shower in front of your partner because you don't want them to see you naked. Think of how crazy that is, right? A lot of you in that position are married right now and don't want your own partners to see you naked. And then we go out into the world and we're like, well, when I was skinny, people treated me better. It's like, yeah, but when you were skinny, you felt better about yourself. And when you feel better about yourself, people feel that on you. And when you think about the kind of people that you want to be around right now, you don't want to be around skinny or fat people. You want to be around healthy people that feel worthy of health. Here's the hardest truth that we'll cover on this episode. This whole journey is this whole podcast, right? We're 88 episodes in. If we were to boil it down to just one mission, the mission here is for you to believe that you are worthy of being a healthy person. Because the actual truth, the really hard truth here that you need to come to terms with, the radical truth, it's so important to understand this, is that if you felt worthy of having a healthy body and being a healthy person and treated with respect, you would not be fat. And I want to say that again. It's so hard to say that. If you felt 100% worthy of health and respect, you would not be fat, because you would not have taken the actions that got you to this place in the first place. Had you have felt fully worthy of health, you would be getting your ass out of bed to go on a 15-minute walk in the morning, and you'd be making healthy choices around food. So in my position, here's my experience with skinny privilege, to bring this back. I would go to work at a job that I hated. I'd wake up, I'd dread it, right? And then I would come home, and it would be, 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to order, hadn't eaten anything because I'm fasting for the day or whatever, right? Or just had a small meal. And I'm going to wait until 8 o'clock at night so I can extend my fasting window. And then I'm going to get Uber Eats delivered with half of a pizza, with some breadsticks, with a Dairy Queen Blizzard. And I'm going to eat it all before I go to bed, because I deserve it, because it was a hard day and I'm just not really happy. And the food makes me kind of happier when I do it. So I would go out with my friends, right? And we'd like get a drink or whatever before my Uber Eats would get there. And all my friends would be like kind of not like fat, but not skinny, just kind of normal bodied people, right? And they'd be out like talking to girls, having fun, whatever. And I'm just kind of sitting there like on my phone, I'm kind of talking to some people, but like no one's holding the door open for me. Feels like people aren't treating me with the same respect that I'm treating myself, that other people are getting treated with. And that makes me feel not very confident. So then it's kind of changing my aura and my vibe to where I'm struggling to look at people the same way. I'm kind of like in my own bubble. I'm kind of crunched up. And then I would go home, be like, God, skinny privilege, God, I just want to be skinny. And then I would eat all that food. And I would sabotage myself and prevent myself from ever feeling or achieving the skinny privilege that I so desired and that I was telling myself and the world that I wanted. I would take the action against the thing that I was saying that I wanted. So if I felt truly deserving of that thing, would I be sabotaging myself to prevent myself from getting it? Of course not, right? Notice what we're not talking about right now: calories, macros, keto, all this other shit. This is not about food. Permanent weight loss is not about food. It's about identity, belief, and being really clear on the direction that you're going and how you're getting there. It's so much more about why you're eating the food than it is what you're eating. So let that be a takeaway here. So I did not feel worthy of being skinny, yet I was upset because I did not have the skinny privilege. Now, years before that, right, from 2013 to 2019, I lost and gained back. I changed the number because I don't really know. Somewhere between 60 and 75 pounds every year on every traditional diet. So I would get to let's say May, and I would be 250 pounds. I'm kind of making this number up. Let's say May of 2015, I was 250 pounds. I don't know exactly. And I maybe lost 60 pounds that summer. So May, June, July, August, maybe 3 or 4 months, I would have lost 60 pounds, 15 to 20 pounds a month. And while I was losing weight, so I'd go, God, I want to feel better. I want skinny privilege. I'm going to lose weight. So I'd go on a diet without even questioning the sustainability of it. I just want to get down there as quickly as I can so I can get the skinny privilege, right? The biggest joke of the whole thing is that people actually treated me better while I was losing weight than they did after I hit my weight loss goal. Because what would happen was I would be really going all in on myself. Even though what I was doing at that year was probably like the chicken, broccoli, and rice diet. Like it's not aligned with what I want to do in the long term, which is why I would gain the weight back again. And kind of know that I would when I really sat with the truth, right? I would lose all this weight and have all this, like, while I was in the energy of really going for something, I was fucking glowing. I was walking around, looking people in the eye, telling them all that I was losing weight. They see me in the gym. They see me playing basketball. They see me walking. They see me getting around other people, doing social things. They see me cutting back on booze. They see me being the guy that's out at the bar being like, I'm just going to have 1 instead of 3 tonight. Like they see me making those healthy choices, and I wore that with pride. And all of the measures of skinny privilege, how people treat you, people holding the door open for you. In my case, I was single at the time. Women responding more positively to me, people being more open, people approaching me instead of me approaching them, people looking at me and saying hi without me saying anything first. All of these things happened while I was on the weight loss journey. So I was still fat. I would lose 20 pounds. I'd still be 50 to 60 pounds overweight, and people would be already treating me with the skinny privilege that I wanted. And then I would get all the way down to my goal. And as soon as I would hit my goal, I would start sabotaging myself back into, I'd be at my weight goal for like a week before I would just start gaining the weight back. And as soon as I would start gaining the weight back, so let's say in this case at 230 pounds, people are already treating me with that glow or I've got that glow. So people are already treating me with a lot of respect and a lot of confidence in a way that they weren't before. A lot of niceness. A lot of that skinny privilege is already there. I'm still 230 pounds. I would get down to 190 pounds, right? Start gaining weight back. I'd do 195. People were treating me worse at 195 than they were 230. Because it didn't have anything to do with my body weight or what I looked like. It had to do with how I was presenting. It had to do with how I slept the night before. It's so much more about who you are being than it is how you are looking. Do looks matter? Yes. Do some people hate fat people? Yes. Some people hate skinny people. I was in the sauna. I sauna all the time. I was in the sauna recently, and this guy was talking about launching a podcast and was asking me about mine. And I go, yeah. I go, I've got a show too. And he goes, what's it about? And I go, weight loss. He goes, oh, did you lose weight? I go, yeah, I lost a lot of weight like 6 years ago. And there's this girl in the sauna who hadn't said anything the whole time we were in there. And she goes, what is it with all the ex-fat guys around here? And when she said that, she said it in a very rude energy. My first response was like, this girl. Like I was annoyed, a little bit angered. And I just actively took a breath and chose to just let it be light and let it be funny and not take it that seriously. And I just went, who are the other guys? And she told me, and I go, you should definitely marry one of them, because ex-fat people are some of the best people in the world. They've got great sense of humor, great confidence, great reliability. And if they show up for you in your relationship, even 1/4 as much as they've shown up for themselves, you're going to have one of the most successful marriages ever. And then I just laughed and then stopped talking to her. And it's like, just not taking things super seriously is a huge thing that I learned through weight loss. But the biggest thing that I learned from that is that people are still saying shit about, she then went on to continue this whole conversation about how people lose weight and they're just scrawny. And I'm like, I can't win. First off, I don't care about this woman, but I cannot win, because now I've got people telling me that I need to build more muscle. Now I've got people telling me that I need to blank. I need to get to 150 episodes into the show. It's like, you're never going to make everybody happy, and people will always discriminate against you for something. I promise. So first off, you will always have some sort of disadvantage. But what I have learned is that sustainable weight loss is an inside-out game. And you can actually fully experience the radiance and the glow of what you're calling skinny privilege way before you ever hit your goal. I have a client right now named Black Minnie. She's lost 44 pounds, I believe, with her most recent weigh-in last week. And her journey it's gone like this. The very beginning, we're simplifying food. We're creating our go-to meals. When we eat in that way with a level of consistency for even 1 to 2 weeks, most of the food noise, most of the cravings completely go away. Cravings and food noise go away. Now we're addressing the things that the cravings and the food noise we've been using food to hide from. Pardon me. We start addressing those things. We start building a life where food does not have the same pull that it had before. So for Black Minnie, and she was actually on this show 7 or 8 weeks ago, and we talked about this at depth. So go back and listen to this if you'd like to. Hear her experience from her own words. For her specifically, she decided that she was going to get back into what she wanted to do after she hit her goal, which was getting on stage and being a performing artist in a theater. So she's only halfway to her weight loss goal, so has another 40 or so pounds to lose. Who knows exactly how much once we get down there, right? She's already living life at her weight loss goal. Like, the way she is living is very, very, very close to the way that she'll be living after she hits her goal. And she's fully experiencing what we previously would have called skinny privilege. Yet she is still 40 pounds or so, give or take, away from her goal. How is that possible? The way that it's possible is that when Black Minnie speaks to people now, she intentionally looks them in the eye with a level of confidence. She intentionally slows down her speech so that other people actually listen and respond to what she says. She is literally moving with the confidence and a radiance and a glow that other people want to be around. People, to bring it back to what I said earlier, people don't want to be around skinny people. People want to be around healthy people that feel deserving of respect and that feel deserving of their own health. Skinny privilege and healthy privilege are not the same thing. Earlier this year, I had a chronic back issue. There was an episode, maybe February or March, where I was hospitalized and had updated y'all on that, and for a bulging disc in my back. And for probably 2 months after that, some of the hardest months of my life, definitely in the most recent years, I could not stand up straight. I could not sleep for more than 90 minutes at a time for months. And I looked like shit and I felt like shit. I didn't post as much on social media because I hated the way that I look with the big bags under my eyes. Everything in my life energetically was much more difficult. And everywhere that I went, people responded to me differently because I was hunched over, because I looked tired, because I wasn't speaking with a confidence or a knowing or a radiance. I was speaking in a way like I didn't really care that people really even heard what I was saying. And everybody responded to me different. I didn't make new connections in that time. I didn't make new friends in that time. I didn't meet new people in that time. I didn't try new things in that time. And I felt worse about my life. And there's seasons for that. Things happen, right? It actually felt like I had lost what people are now calling skinny privilege. And I still had the exact same body, same weight. I didn't gain or lose any weight throughout that time. How is that possible? How are people treating me different when I'm skinny? Because I was skinny before, because it doesn't have that much to do with my body. It has more to do with who I am and how I'm being. And here in a minute, I'm going to give you guys an exercise to practice this so that you can fully embody your healthiest self and experience your skinny privilege way before you ever actually get to your goal weight, because you don't need to. And the last piece I want to say here, if you still believe that skinny privilege is a real thing, I don't blame you and I don't fault you at all. It's just that you're putting off happiness and positive receiving. You're putting off people treating you better until you're skinny. The issue is that you actually deserve you can actually embody your healthiest self right now. So if you were to write down every single thing that your healthiest self does on a day-to-day basis, if you were to imagine right now it's 2025, let's say that it took you 1 year to lose all the weight. And then 5 years after that, it's 2031. So in 2031, the version of you that has lost weight and actually kept it off, how do they eat? What time do they wake up? What kind of people do they spend time with? How do they look people in the eye when they speak? What tonality do they speak with? What time do they go to bed? What sort of content do they consume on the internet? Do they watch the news every day? Do they even know what's happening in politics? Or are they just like so focused on their own life that they don't really care? When you go and actually you can actually live like that tomorrow. And if you were to do that for 2 days, you could go out and exist in the world with the skinny privilege that you're saying right now. And if you still believe that skinny privilege is a thing, keeping in mind skinny privilege and fat disadvantage are not the same, right? But if you still believe, Nick, I don't know what you're talking about. People treat me better when I'm skinny. Yes, but they treat you better because you feel better about yourself and because you treated yourself better to get there. So you feel more worthy of it, right? If you still believe skinny privilege is real, you can go walk around any major downtown metropolis. Austin, Texas is where I live. You can go out to New York, San Francisco, LA. You can go to London, any other major cities. You can go look at any of the homeless people and tell me that skinny privilege is real. Well, Nick, that's not the same because they're homeless people. Yeah, they're skinny as fuck, most of them. And they're not treated with the skinny privilege, which is an extreme way of me demonstrating here. It doesn't have to do with their skinniness. It has to do with their energy and their radiance and how they feel about their own life. Like, really let that sit for a second. It has to do with their energy, their radiance, how they move, how they speak, how they present, and how they feel about their own life. So the question is not, how do I get skinny so that other people will like me? The question is, how do I learn to like myself and meet myself with love so that other people can feel on me that I deserve this because I've actually taken the action of somebody that deserves it? It's not, is skinny privilege real or fake? It's, do you even benefit from allowing yourself to believe it? If there's one thing I've learned from losing weight and actually really, truly healing root cause obesity and really actually putting it behind me in a way that I didn't know was possible, it's that you can choose what you believe about yourself and about your own life. If you can't explain why you believe the things that you believe, then they're probably not your beliefs, and you can choose to change them at any time. And you can choose to believe that though people do sometimes treat fat people like shit, skinny privilege isn't really the real thing. If you were to imagine 2 people walking into a room and one of them was 250 pounds and one of them was 150 pounds. Let's say they're both women that are 50 years old, 250 and 150. They both walk in. 250-pound woman she's got her stuff all done up. She looks very presentable. She walks in, but she's big. She's like I was bigger than her, but she's almost as big as me, maybe, right? She walks in, she's got her shoulders back, and she says hi, and she gives you a big hug, and she goes, hey, how are you? And she's got like perfume on, in my case, cologne on. I don't know why I picked a woman for this example. You know what I mean? She's a radiant woman. You ever feel the radiance? Have you ever felt the radiance of a man walks into a room, and you might not even look, but you can just feel that a man just walked into the room? What is that? That's the energy of that man. Do you ever feel across the street a woman, you can even call her an older woman, let's say she's 68 years old, and last third of her life potentially woman, just starting the back third, walking down the side of the road, and she's fucking, everyone turns and looks at her. She's got like a sundress on, she's just glowing, she's just walking. You're like, wow, I don't know if that girl's a mom or a grandma or what's going on, but that's just like a woman. That's a woman, right? That is what we call a radiant woman. That is an energetic woman. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman or, you know, wherever you're at on that spectrum in 2025. It's totally okay. But it's about moving with radiance and confidence that attracts other people. It doesn't matter what weight they are. The 250-pound person walking into the restaurant that is radiant and glowing like that versus the 150-pound person who's walking in, looking at their phone with their head down, not taking full breaths and not really looking people in the eye and has an awkward thing where they like can't hold the eye contact because they don't feel good about themselves. Which one would you rather sit down and get lunch with? That's tough, right? But I would absolutely pick, well, it's not tough, it's easy. I would absolutely pick the person that felt more confident, felt more radiant. It had nothing to do with their weight. Even if I didn't want to be around a bunch of fat people, which I don't care, right? The problem is that most people that are fat cannot embody that level of confidence. Or let me reframe that. I could not embody that level of confidence when I was fat. It was very difficult for me. Very, 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 very difficult for me. But here's a practice that I did not have access to, that had I had access to, would have changed my view on skinny privilege and would have allowed me to bring that future feeling of skinny privilege into the present tense so that I can actually start living like my healthiest self right now instead of putting off positive feeling until I hit my goal. So if you're fat and you believe in skinny privilege, grab a pen and grab a paper and you're going to write this down step by step exactly what to do. And this would be really, really important for you to help you really rewire that fat mind and take control of your life. So the next time that you go out into public, you're going to put on an outfit that you feel the best in. It might not be an outfit that you feel good in. When I was fat, I didn't feel good in any of my clothing, but I still had clothing that I liked more than others. So whichever thing you like the most is what we're going to put on. Or maybe even in your case, it might be hate the least was the world that I existed in, and that's totally okay as well. You're going to go look in the mirror. You're going to turn on your favorite song that makes you feel fun. It might be like Fleetwood Mac. Or it might be like Miley Cyrus, wherever you're at on that spectrum, or Lizzo, whatever, anything that makes you just kind of smile. I like Pitbull. I like to say it's impossible to be upset and listen to Pitbull at the same time. So that could be a great approach. Give that a try. You're going to go look in the mirror and you're going to put your finger under your left eye. You're going to look directly into your left eye. You're going to take a huge breath, biggest breath that you've ever taken in your whole life. And you're going to breathe it out with an exaggerated sound, like a moaning sound. Really let it out. Take up some space. You're going to put your arms out to the side. And you're going to put your arms way up in the air. And with your arms up in the air, you're going to say, I am worthy of respect because I treat myself with respect. Meanwhile, you're looking at yourself. I'm worthy of respect because I treat myself with respect. And then smile. Hold a smile. Let it be goofy. It doesn't need to be that serious. You're going to say, important people speak highly of me because I am one of them. I am worthy of respect because I treat myself with respect. Important people speak highly of me because I am one of the important people. I'm lucky to be on this world and on this planet, but even more than that, this planet is lucky to have me because I have positive contribution. I'm lucky to meet everyone that I will meet on this outing, but even more than that, they are lucky to meet me because my energy will be serving to them and will make them feel better about themselves and their own lives. I'm going to give to them the skinny privilege that I so desire for myself. And through giving that to other people, I will feel that in myself and I will fully embody my healthiest self from now on and forever to the best of my ability. You're going to look yourself in the eye. I love you. You love me. You're the fucking man. You're the fucking woman. Let's go. And then you're going to dance for 60 seconds. If you spent the 2 minutes doing that, like really just doing that and looking at yourself, you will find that the way you feel about life is so different and the way that other people treat you is so different. And then when you go out, you're going to look people in the eye when you talk to them, and you can even just make it a game. Like when I'm playing a game where I'm going to hold, every time that I'm in a conversation with someone, I'm going to hold a minimum of 5 seconds of eye contact. And just practice. Do it 1 or 2 times and then it'll become more automatic. Don't be the creepy guy or the creepy girl that's like weirdly not breaking eye contact, right? Like there's levels to this that feel weird and inappropriate, but like really practice looking someone in the eye. Really practice standing up totally straight. Really practice breathing while you're walking and while you're speaking to somebody. And you get nervous, oh God, I don't know, I don't like have the social skills. Take a full breath in that moment. and stay there. Push yourself a little bit long. See if you can create comfort in an uncomfortable situation for somebody else. See if you can compliment someone else. Go out and compliment 3 people the next time you're at the grocery store. Not in a weird way. Oh my God, I love your, it's just like, wow, those tattoos are really cool. That's one I really like. Well, your tattoos are really fucking cool. Wow, what do those mean to you? That's amazing. Where'd you get those? Wow. Another one I like, guys don't compliment men enough. Another one I like is dudes with great beards. Man, if I had a beard like that, my whole life would have been different. It's like, just let things be light and let things be funny. When you move like that, you can do that when you're fat. You will experience the skinny privilege right now, and you'll realize that skinny privilege is not actually real. It's just people responding to the energy of deservingness that you feel in yourself. And you can bring that into the present moment, and you need to bring that into the present moment so that once you get down to your weight loss goal, you don't feel like you are now deserving of something that you didn't have before. You need to feel the deservingness of that thing right now by taking the action right now so that you don't quit. And also so that you don't have this huge expectation. There's the other side of this too, where people hit their weight loss goal and they're like, it wasn't as good as I thought. Yeah, that's because you built it up to be this massive thing that it's not. Like nothing changes the day that you hit your weight loss goal. My first weight loss goal was 199 pounds. When I went from 200 to 199, nothing changed about my life. I was the same person that next day. That's not true. I started sabotaging myself again. So my habits changed, but people didn't treat me better at 199 than they did at 200. Bring it into the present tense. You deserve it. I deserve to witness you in it. The world deserves to witness you in your fullest light. That is nothing to do with your skinniness. It only has to do with how you feel in your own sense of worthiness. So give yourself what you want from other people and give what you want from other people back to them. Do it one time and watch skinny privilege appear right in front of your face, even though you're not skinny. If you made it to the end of this podcast episode, I know that this topic can be kind of like, what do you mean skinny privilege isn't real? Again, I got your back. We're on the same team here, right? Everyone listening to this has lost weight before to some extent. Just really challenge the beliefs and stay open to the idea that thinking about things in a different way could be really beneficial for you if you're ready to actually put obesity behind you for good. And lastly, if you made it to the end of this episode, if you can leave a like on Spotify or Apple, or a subscribe on YouTube if you'd rather watch the video, it would really go a long way in helping me get this message out to other people that deserve to know what sustainable weight loss really looks like and to rewire their fat minds. You absolutely have what it takes to lose weight, but even more importantly than that, you absolutely have what it takes to become the kind of person that puts obesity behind them for good. See y'all next week.